Hello, everyone. It is Brower Claus bringing you lots of presents here on this Christmas edition of Near Fall, the GardenStateHSWrestling.com podcast. I am Donald Brower, a.k.a. Brower Claus. Thank you for joining us here. Great start of the season so far. We finished some of the main holiday tournaments. We're getting ready to sit down and have some warm eggnog, and depending on where you're at in the state, some nice food for the evening. If you're more towards the East Hanover area where I'm at, that's a nice charcuterie board and maybe some chicken marsala and other stuff like that. Some pasta, whatever your family traditions are. You know, I hope you have a safe, happy, and healthy one. So Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate from here, us at GardenStateHSWrestling.com to you and your families. I also want to wish a Merry Christmas to our sponsors who help us bring this to you every week. Champion Athletes, Dan Wernickoff. I talk about Dan because I like Dan. Dan has done so much, not only for the wrestling community, but in general. If you want to get better, everybody looks at the aspect of training. Everybody looks at the aspect of skills. Everybody looks at practice. You need that nutrition. Your car is a body, like your body. Let me rephrase that so we understand this. Your body is like a car. You're not going to go get all the nice rims and get everything else and the sound system. And, you know, some of the people put the underlights in, whatever you're doing with the Hondas. I'm more of a Chevelle guy. But you're not going to do all that fancy stuff with the chrome rims and everything and then put cheap gas in it. Like, he helps you with the gas. He's going to help you get better and feel better. Pat Glory used him, got better. Everybody else who's used Dan has gotten better. It helps you slowly lose the weight, especially with the new year coming up. I know there's a lot of people looking to shed, 10, 15, 50 pounds, 100 maybe. No, but, people looking to do something, Dan will help you so you're not feeling that rumble type stuff. So shoot him an email, see if he can help you. Dan Wernickoff, Champion Athletes. The Apex Wrestling School, founded in 2002, excuse me, my language can't really work too well. 2002 by New Jersey legend Damian Logan and his college roommate in Michigan, Dane Tabano. 4 locations in New Jersey, 1 in New York, the Apex Wrestling School, and the Harrington companies. Whether it's recycling, demolition, the Hoffman landscaping, you need anything with your house done except living in it, which maybe they can come move in. I don't know. Maybe they'll hang out. But anything you need done with your house, the Harrington companies. Those are the places to go. Big supporters of us. All 3 of them have helped make this so far one of the best years so far. Giving us a good Christmas. My wife doesn't get coal with a Disney symbol on it. She might get, something else with coal, but we're good with that. But thank you guys so much for your sponsorship this year. And please give them a look if you need any type of food services with Champion Athletes. You want to get better with training, Apex Wrestling School. If you want something with your house, the Harrington companies. Thank you guys. Now, I said we had a big week, of wrestling. We were out almost every day. We were out. We went to Mount Olive at Morris Hills on Tuesday. We were at Wayne Valley on Wednesday with the Wayne Valley match, which was a very good one. Thursday, we traveled up to Kittatinny. We were there for Morris Hills at Kittatinny. Great match up there. But the 2 biggest ones had to be the quads we covered this weekend. We had a night quad at Randolph on Friday with some really good quality teams in the area. Warren Hills wound up going 3-0 in that quad. Beating Hanover Park, West Morris, and Randolph. Hanover Park finished 2-1. They beat West Morris and Randolph. And West Morris won 1-2 and beat host Randolph on a last bout pin at heavyweight, which wound up giving them the 6 and letting them take the win there. Another little key moment from that matchup was the Hanover Park West Morris match coming down to criteria. Hanover Park beat them 36-35 on criteria F, which is at least forfeits. And it was actually funny because they wanted to bump up, I think it was Brandon Dean, so they forfeited at 157 to bump him up. That's what wound up costing him the match when everything broke down as they ended in a 35-35 tie. And the anticipation as they were trying to figure it out, if you saw the coverage, everybody looking, trying to figure out the books. And the referee came back and they had the book and they realized what it was. It was most forfeits. So congratulations, but a really good Friday night quad. 4 teams in the coverage area that are right there. It's usually some of these quads you get a team that, I don't want to say it's a cakewalk, but they're put on there because the teams know, like, oh, at least we'll get a win out of here. That wasn't the case here. Every team was really good and it was very competitive. Speaking of competitive, probably the biggest match and quad of the week was the first ever quad at Peaburg. Now, Peaburg used to never like doing quad meets. Peaburg's very much a dual meet team. They don't like to wrestle, and for a lot of people who may not know, there's sort of been an unwritten, long-standing rule with Peaburg. They don't do quads and they don't wrestle private schools. It's kind of their thing. It's always been that way for a long time. I'm sure it's changing now as we head here, but they had their first ever home quad. We had a chance to broadcast it. Great, beautiful facility. If you've never been to the new Phillipsburg High School, beautiful facility. I mean, that gym honestly is one of the best gyms, and there's not really a bad seat the way it's sat. It's kind of there's no real floor seating. It goes up on the sides with the bleachers as you come in, and so you got a really good shot. And with the great video board they have up on the wall, there's not a bad angle in that building. And the teams that were there, Peaburg goes 3-0. I think they went well. There were some things I think they're going to probably clean up, coming up. They were a little closer, I think, with certain teams than they thought they'd be, but they wound up winning. Winning is all that matters. But I think there's, some things I think they're going to want to work on and clean up. The other team that I was really impressed with was Mount Olive. Mount Olive beat North Hunterdon. I like North Hunterdon. I think they're going to be on the up, on the rise. A rough couple days for them. Losing in the last match at Warren Hills the other day by Webb. And when they were winning that match, they lose by pin. I think it was 32-30. They came back. They wound up losing that match. Warren Hills came back 32-30. And then they lose to a really tough Mount Olive team, which if everything goes well, there's a chance that they might see each other later on or in the future. Those two teams are Group 4 teams that have battled in the past. We'll see how everything shakes out there. And Delsey. And I know Delsey was missing one guy who may or may not wrestle, but they were, if I remember, I don't remember their exact rank, but I know in NJ.com, the New Jersey Wrestling Writers Association, they were top 12-ish in that range. They looked a little lost. And it's nothing against Delsey. I know Delsey is a tough team. They're probably most likely going to be in the Group 3 final again. So when you look at this quad, you had potentially a Group 5 finalist in Peaburg, a Group 4 finalist in Mount Olive, a Group 3 finalist in Delsey, and you never know with North Hunterdon if they get on a run, if they advance, because they won it last year and they brought back some, they lost a couple quality kids. When you lose a Logan Wade, a Waddle, and all those other guys, it's going to be tough. But I think that's an open section, so really good quad with that. But Mount Olive looked really, really impressive. I think both the New Jersey Wrestling Writers Association, which I'm a part of, who had them 20, and NJ.com, who didn't have them in. I think we missed the boat because I know a lot of people were like, oh, Bastorica left, Moscatello left, but they still have Haggetson, they still have Piemonte, they still have Gonzalez, they still have Bienis, they still have a lot of other guys who could fill in and fit those holes. They have a young couple freshmen in Bullock and Smythe and those guys who are coming in. And if it sounds like I just mentioned some coaches' names, they're actually the sons of Sean Bullock, the former AD at Dover, who runs the youth program for them, and head coach Sean Smythe, who has been there forever. So they got some quality matchups coming up, and they were right there. They were right there with Peaburg. They wound up losing 32-30. It was clinched at 106, and it started at 126. There were a couple key matchups, I think, that if they clean it up a little bit, and Peaburg was missing a couple guys from their main lineup, but it's still very, very competitive. I think if Mount Olive can clean up a couple little things in the middle of the upper, nothing crazy. It was a long day, but I think if they can, create a couple little things there, I have no problem seeing them, finishing as the top public school, possibly in Morris County. Not sure the state, just because Southern's really, really tough, but I have no reason to think they can't make a run and possibly win another group championship. Now, speaking of that quad, that brought me my wrestler of the week. Now, I saw a lot of wrestling this week. Some great performances out there by a lot of guys. You want to talk about Tucker Lockburner from Kittatinny winning the match against Morris Hills. There was a great run by Dean. You also had I really was impressed by Gabriella Conti's performance in the quad. There's plenty of people I could choose from, but I'm going to look at my quad from Saturday. And I'm going with Liam Packer from Phillipsburg. impressive way he wrestled this weekend, I think really helped Peeber. The one thing I think he did was he wound up beating uh, Gonzalez from Mount Olive, and it was close. But I think that was a flipping point for the match because if he loses there, that's a 3-point swing, and I think you're talking about a whole different aspect when you get down low. So that was a big one for him to beat him and kind of set the stage for what he's doing. So Liam Packer I was just very impressed with him. And like I said, he's done a great job for them. And he's one of those guys he's very good. He's very good for Peeberg, but sometimes he gets overshadowed by the Wargos or the Hawks or guys like that who you're like, oh, okay. And he's very solid, very good. His dad's an Eagles fan, so I mean there are problems, but no, I'm kidding. He did really well, and his whole one of the guys I think he's going to improve as the season goes along. So, I mean, for Packer, a senior, he finished with 28 wins a year ago. So I would not be shocked if he matched that this year. So congratulations to Liam Packer. He is my wrestler of the week for week 2, the Christmas edition. Ho, ho, ho. For Santa Brower, or Brower Claus, as we're going to try to trademark, is going to gift you with good tidings for the season. And hopefully you're going to have a great, great rest of your year. Now, our rankings changed a little bit. We had some shuffling, nothing too crazy. A few matchups of teams that met each other in some of these early matches. Like I know the Hanover Park West Morris match and changed some stuff. Nothing real strange, but we'll go with Morris first because they're top of the list. I got Morris Knowles at number 10. I have Randolph at number 9. That may switch because they're going to be meeting soon. I can see Morris Knowles jumping up, but I want to see how they do really well. And, I don't want to penalize Randolph too much because of how close they were. And they should have beaten a West Morris team. They were right there. So I don't want to go there. And West Morris is ranked a little higher, which you'll see in a minute. So I don't want to penalize them that too much. These two teams, actually 3 teams may switch depending on the results of the next week. I got Par Hills at 8, Morris Hills at 7, and Montville at 6. I think it's about the coin flip and matchup with those teams, so it'd be interesting to see when they wrestle each other who prevails. I got Jefferson at 5. I think it's that they're one of those young teams again. Would I be shocked if they stayed at 5? No. Would I be shocked if they dropped down to like an 8 or 9 depending on their schedule? No. A lot of these teams from that 5 to 10 range seem to be very jumbled together. And like I said, it is very much of a coin flip with it. But the top 4 teams to me pretty much stay the same. I had Hanover Park at 4. They move up to 3 with their win over West Morris. West Morris drops down to 4. So they flip-flop. But my top 2 this week are still Mount Olive number 1, Mount Olive number 2, Del Barton number 1. Del Barton had a great showing out at the National Wrestling Hall of Fame out in Oklahoma. They won their first 3. They have a couple more. Yesterday, they were wrestling Wyoming Seminary. I haven't gotten the results yet for that, but they hopefully by the time this post, they'll be up. And they've just looked like a really good team, and they're still missing a couple guys. So I really am impressed with them, and I'm looking forward to what I assume, unless somebody sneaks up that I'm not thinking of, another matchup down there at the non-public A championship between them and St. Joe Montville. They both match up really well, so it's going to be a really good one. Now let's head out to the HWS for our matches there. Like I said, bottom flipped a little bit. Last week, North Hunterdon was 10, Voorhees was 9. North beat Voorhees, so he jumped over them. They're sitting there, and so Voorhees is 10, North is 9. A really close matchup with Warren Hills, North had. So Warren Hills is next at 8. I like that little mix in there. Those are one of those matchups. Those 3 teams, if you were to get them at a match and let them wrestle each 10 times, I don't know if you're going to have a definitive winner. It's literally just, luck of the coin and everything like that. So those are 3 really good squads. And honestly, 3 squads who, if you would ask a lot of people in the beginning of the year, you're not 100% sure how they would respond, with North losing as much as they had, Warren Hills with the new coach, Voorhees up and coming, but I think they're going to be quality teams going forward. It's just they're young, and I think they'll be well. I think Voorhees has a chance to really improve after the new year, but we'll see. Number 7, Kittatinny. Like I said, been impressed with that team. They wound up not only winning against Morris Hills the other day. They went to the West Milford duels on Saturday and swept there. They beat West Milford, Wayne Valley, and I think it was Ramapo was the other one. Um, but they wound up going 3-0 there. Sparta, who's been really impressed me, is number 6. They got a really quality squad, and I think a lot of people slept on them. And when you talk about the state of that program, 2 years ago, they only had 2 wins. Now they're competing with some really good squads. I like Sparta. I think they're a team that kind of keep an eye on and watch. They kind of came out last year and shocked everybody with a really good season. I think that's going to continue and possibly result in them making a run at a sectional championship. Pope John's number 5. Another good season for them. They're going to get to Sam Cali coming up here after the holiday. I expect big things from Pope John. I think they're getting a lot of people locked in. You have the Holly brothers. You have Carson Walsh. I think JoJo Aragona is huge for them on the sidelines because he's a guy who's going through it. So I think he's going to help a Walsh. I think he's going to help the other guys and help them kind of get over that hump. So that'll be interesting to see. Number 4, High Point. Good start to the season so far. I want to see them when they get into some dual meets, how they match up. They've done well so far against the squads they have, but I want to see them really get some good competition. I think they'll still persevere, but I want to see them against some really good squads. Number 3 and number 2 are interesting because I differ a little bit from the New Jersey Wrestling Writers Association that I'm a voter of. I have Hunterdon Central 3rd, Del Val 2nd. Now, that may change, and I know they're going to be wrestling other soon, but I have Del Val 2nd just because I feel they're a little deeper. They have some guys they can, maneuver around, and I think that if they match up with guys at certain points, I think they can limit the bonus points that Hunterdon Central can get. So I think their 2nd and 3rd level guys, and this is no disrespect to the teams, I feel their 2nd and 3rd level guys are a little bit better right now than Hunterdon Central's. So I think when you look at some of the matchups of the Hammers, this and that, I think maybe Hunterdon Central wins, maybe Del Val wins, but I think they both limit the bonus points. So then you have those other guys, and it's always come down to that way. I always say that to people, and they always laugh, but those big matchups where you have the Hammers on both teams, it's never that matchup that decides it. It's always like another match between 2 guys, first-year wrestlers, second-year wrestlers, JV wrestlers. Those are the ones that decide it. And I just err towards Del Val right now. I think Del Val at number 2 is tell me a team that can beat them in the group, because I'd love to see that, because I think they're going to get their 3rd in a row. That's just me. Unless something changes, Brower Claus is going to gift you the season of no injuries, knock on wood. But I don't really see anybody beating Del Val in that group. So, I mean, you talk about that. And then Hunterdon Central, instead, lost a heartbreaker last year in the section final, the Group 5 section final. We'll see, I think they got a good shot at, making it down there. So, but again, another team that can make it down there. And another team, I think, who I have as number 1, who has a chance to, make it and win a group section, Phillipsburg. I mean, they proved it this week. Sure, they didn't win the prettiest and they didn't, blow people out, but they won. At the end of the day, they won. And they're missing a couple guys, and I know there's going to be some things they work on, but I got Phillipsburg at number 1. And I mean, I really don't think that's going to change. We'll get some matchups with them. Hopefully, we'll get some really good matchups, hopefully, coming up. I know Peteburg's got some home matches coming up, against some of those squads. And it's nice because when they redid the divisions, now they have, Phillipsburg and Hunterdon Central and Warren Hills and North Hunterdon all in one division. And that's like the old way. Like it used to be back in the old Skylands Conference, back before they redid everything. Those were the teams in it. You had a really good Bound Brook team. You had the Warren Hills. So it was like you were literally fighting a battle to get, to win your conference. So then at the end of the year, these teams are winning group championships. And somebody's like, how are they like 5th in their conference, but they win a group championship? Because when you win against those teams, it was battle tested. Now switching over to Passaic, I'm going to start at number 10. I got Manchester at number 10. Good team. I want to see them step up in competition a little bit. I know they got some stuff coming up. I want to see they're kind of in that area. Wayne Valley got number 9. Tough loss to Wayne Hills. They went 1-1 up at the West Milford duels. So I want to see them rebound. They have a really tough schedule coming up too. So their record may not be the greatest, but they're a tough team and they're going to be battle tested for individual stuff as well. DePaul, number 8. it's interesting because DePaul has some good boy wrestlers, but they have some good girl wrestlers. Congratulations again. I talked about it last week. Caroline Beagle for her showing at the tournament yesterday. She's one to keep an eye on. You have on the girls' side for them as well. Olivia Georges, you got a bunch there, so keep an eye on them. Pompton Lakes, number 7. They wound up sweeping a try against Indian Hills and Mountain Lakes. I know they're going to be hitting some good matchups there. So that could these bottom 5 to 6 can all kind of jumble around because number 6 is Wayne Hills. Big one, like I said, over Wayne Valley. They got some other stuff coming up. I think they're at a holiday tournament. I'm drawing a complete blank on it right now. But they're going to be at a couple places next week. So that that'll be interesting. And it's fun with these holiday tournaments because you kind of get to see where everybody's at. So people overreact because there's certain teams that are like very good tournament teams. For example, my next team is Lakeland, who we spoke about it in the preview video, just kind of figuring it out. We spoke about it in the preview video, and it was, they were going to be last year with the PCT, the Passaic County Tournament. They only entered, I want to say, 7 or 8 kids in. So they only had a few kids who were involved in anything. And they wound up finishing second to a Clifton team who I'm 99% sure entered, if not all weights, at least 13. So that's really good to be able to, finish that place and kind of be like, okay, like we're right there. So good job by Clifton, or excuse me, Lakeland last year, but they're my number 5 team. Number 4 is West Milford. Again, I think West Milford's a really quality squad. We'll see once they get Ben Marchetto back into the lineup fully. I know he's still recovering from some off-season surgery. He's a difference maker. You're talking about a kid who finished 8th 2 years ago in the state. That switches your lineup completely because then it allows you to maneuver better. So keep an eye on him. The team they lost to in the conference, the team that they actually tied last year for the division championship, number 3 is Passaic Valley. I really like Passaic Valley. Like, they're very, very good. Frankie Martino and everybody down there, I think they have a chance to win another conference championship. It would be at least the 4th year they'd at least have part of it, because I know last year they tied it in the 2 years before they won it. Keep an eye on them. I think they're going to have a really good battle with our next team when they meet, PCTI, Passaic County Technical Institute. They've had a good start to the season. They lost some really quality guys from last year, but they bring back some good ones. So I like them there. And my number 1 team, Clifton. Now, I was shocked, and this has nothing to do with them. I thought the matchup against Morris Hills would be closer. They lost by a decent amount, so it kind of gives me a little pause. But Morris Hills is still a good team. They're good, and the regulars for Clifton won, so it'll be something to keep an eye on. But I think what'll happen is that battle for first will be decided the second weekend in January when we're covering the Big North Conference Championships, public school conference championships. They met last year, and it was the first of a trilogy between them. So I'm interested to see them meeting again. And what exactly happens on the mat there. But right now, Clifton is my top team there. Now, coverage, we talked a little bit about our coverage last week. Let's talk about what we're going to be doing this week. We are going to be out and about after the new year. Short week because of obviously how everything's going. So there's going to be some stuff Tuesday, and it's going to go to Saturday because of how the holiday breaks. So we're not doing anything Tuesday. My wife would shoot me if I was doing everything in between. I got to do something with the wife, happy wife, happy life. On Thursday, we are going to be at the Kittatinny Cougar Classic. We're going to be broadcasting the 1st and 3rd place bouts. They go simultaneously. So we'll be up there. We'll have the 2 feeds up. I'll be on the call for the championship. We're going to have Shane Dunn, James Clark, either one working on the 3rd place, but we'll be up there. Oh, excuse me, James Clark's going to be on the call on the 28th. We're going to have Shane Dunn at the John Goals tournament, kind of doing a wrap-up and, covering that for us. So it'll be good there. And, lots of tournaments out there. I mean, that's the start of the holiday tournaments in between, because you have not only the Lynn Cron Memorial, which is the Cougar Classic, the John Goles tournament, the Lenape Valley tournament, which has some good numbers. The Sam Cali tournament will also be going on. There's one in Homedale and Lakewood. And then we're working on doing something for the 29th. We're working on trying to get some coverage there. We'll make an announcement, right after Christmas if we can or not. But there's some good tournaments there if you're looking to get out for a weekend, a week off if you're off for the holiday and you're looking to just get out and see a nice little set of matchups. There's some good places. And if you really want to go to a really good matchup on Saturday, early in the morning, starts at 10 a.m., but it's that West Morris team we just saw against the Mount Olive team we just saw right up the street. Right, two teams that are literally, right, share a border as far as districting goes. Should be a really good matchup. I think Mount Olive has to be the favorite just from their run down there, but I won't take anything away from West Morris. They've just been super competitive, and I like what they've been doing, and keep rolling. So it'll be interesting to see that matchup. But we'll have the links up for those most likely after Christmas, and we'll have an announcement obviously with everything. But like I said, for everything we hear, Brower Claus is bringing everybody gifts, this and that. Some people are going to get coal, especially if you're a moron and you know who I'm talking about. But I'm not going to talk about him right now. I'm in a festive mood. I'll let everything handle after that when Krampus can come out on the 26th. But for Jared, the podcasting legend, for James Clark, for Shane Dunn, for John, I don't know your last name, the new cameraman, I apologize. For everyone who has been a big helper this year and who has, made this the best year for Garden State HSWrestling.com, the premier high school wrestling coverage company in the state. I want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas, a happy holidays, and a healthy New Year. We will do another podcast before the New Year, but I just want to wish everyone a safe and happy holiday season. We will see you next week.